So recently we had some big news just dropped by Dana White. He's absolutely cooking right now. We have Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis for the main event of UFC 297 in Toronto. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria in UFC 298. And lastly, we have Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera in the main event of UFC 299. So I'm going to break down every single one of these fights individually and give my personal take on it and kind of give my pre-consumption, my pre-prediction to who will win these fights in the future. It might change down the line depending on some news that might surface or whatever might happen, but I'm going to give my initial take, my first thought right here, right now. So in order, we'll go with Sean Strickland versus DDP. I don't know. I'm probably going to take DDP to win this one. It makes me feel like I just think that Dricus du Plessis has that power advantage over some of these middleweights now. He was able to pretty much dominate in TKO Whitaker, which is no easy feat these days, man. Like, it takes a real savage to go out there and actually put away Whitaker. And I think somebody like DDP, who has that power threat, can kind of test the chin of Sean Strickland, and I think he might fail that test. Strickland is very good. Do not get me wrong. He has a very solid chance of beating DDP. He was able to basically school Israel Adesanya for 5 rounds and beat him up and make him look silly that entire time. So maybe Strickland has that technical advantage, that style that can really match up well against a guy like DDP, and maybe he can put a pace on him. But I think DDP, after that nose surgery, he's a different kind of fighter. He's a new mythical fighter. Two-nostril DDP is a different kind of breed, a different kind of animal, and maybe the pace of Strickland will not affect him as much, considering he can breathe good now. But one thing that Strickland always seems to struggle with is power. Alex Payacon with that left hook. He got spinning wheel kick KO'd at one point. Like, Strickland has a tendency to get hit hard by guys who have power, and typically he gets rocked and goes down. So I think DDP can probably catch him and most likely put him down. I don't know. It's kind of I'm kind of leading DDP 55% to Strickland's 45%. It's a very tough matchup to predict. I have to go back and watch some more film of DDP and Strickland to really understand the game and how they really match up. But on my initial thought, I think the power of DDP just gives the edge to him, in my opinion. A great matchup. That Toronto card is looking kind of mid outside of the main event. I think the co-main event is Maura Bueno Silva versus Raquel Rodriguez. So the card as a whole isn't looking too great right now, but they still can add a few more fights to it. It's in January, so you got a few months time to get prepared for that card. The main event is very worth watching, and I do love the styles of these guys and how they will clash when they do fight each other. But moving on, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria happening at UFC 298. And I don't really know. I was kind of at work when this news got dropped, so I had a little bit of time to prepare and kind of gather my thoughts. And at first I was like, okay, easy win for Volkanovski, but then I kind of thought about it for a second. Right now, in the current state of things, I kind of am just leaning towards Topuria winning this. It just seems like to me, I think Volk kind of took irreparable damage. Listen, Volk's chin has never been the most granite. It's never been the most elite chin. He's not known for taking shots and just eating them. He's more known for his recovery. And we saw him get pretty much TKO'd and was unable to recover by Islam Makhachev. So that's my kind of point with this, is I don't really know how his recovery is going to be against a guy like Topuria. Listen, Volk is getting very up there in age. He's 35 years old. It's November now, and he got TKO'd in October. So it's going to be what? November, December, January, February, 4 months turnaround for Volk. He will not be the same Volk that he used to be. And that's where I'm kind of worried about him. Now, is he more technical than Topuria? I believe so. Does he have better striking than Topuria? I believe so. But power, it's all about power in today's game now. And I think the power of Topuria, if he lands clean on Volk, I don't know if Volk can recover again. Can Volk be the better guy on the feet, and can he piece up Topuria? 100%. But if Topuria does land, can Volk recover? And at this age, and after taking that loss to Islam, I just don't know. I can't see it anymore. And so I'm going to take Topuria to win by probably second round, first round TKO. It worries me. Topuria is getting better. He's had some time off to really build himself to being that complete fighter that he wants to be. He's also been preparing for Volk for a very long time now. So I can see him, Topuria, having a really great game plan going into this and having more time to prepare. We saw it with O'Malley and Aljo. O'Malley knew he was getting a title shot way before he even got the fight announced for himself, and he was able to have a good game plan against Aljo when he went in there and beat him up in the second round. The same principle kind of applies to Topuria here, where he's had time to really look at Volk and analyze his game before he even got into a training camp or before the fight even got announced for him. So I can see Topuria having a really solid, hard, concrete game plan to beat Volk, and if he lands a really good power shot on him, I don't know if Volk can recover. Again, it's not uncommon to see Volk get hurt in fights. Got hurt against Holloway. He got hurt against Islam in their first fight. He got hurt against Chad Mendez in their fight. I mean, it's not uncommon to see Volk get hurt in fights, but it is very common for him to recover. And as you get older and as time goes on, and once you take some really good damage in your career, that recovery time goes down, it diminishes. And so I can see Volk maybe not having that recovery like he was when he was youthful, and maybe Topuria might be the one to really end his featherweight championship reign. So I'm probably going to take Topuria by late first round TKO or maybe early second round TKO to beat Volkanovski. I hate picking against him. I think he is still like that good. I think Volkanovski is that dude and he can beat Topuria. I think he's actually a better striker and a more well-rounded fighter than Topuria, but it's the fact that the power might be a bit too much for him. And also Topuria's good on the ground, so I don't see Volk taking him down as well. I think that will be nullified. I forgot to mention that Topuria has a very solid ground game, so I don't see Volk taking him down. So it's going to be purely on the feet, and that's why I'm predicting Topuria to land a good shot on him, because it's going to be a pure stand-up fight. But moving on, we have Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera to headline UFC 299, and I'm going to take O'Malley to win this one, I think, fairly easily. I don't know why Chito Vera is getting a title shot. Well, I know why he's getting a title shot, but it doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things because Chito Vera pretty clearly lost to Corey Sandhagen, and he beat Pedro Munoz, don't get me wrong, but he's ranked number 10 at bantamweight, so it doesn't really make too much sense to really give Chito Vera a title shot. Like, I don't know, but I guess that history is there. The narrative is there for these two to fight. So it makes sense why the UFC is pushing Sean O'Malley to take this matchup versus Chito Vera. And I think O'Malley wants it as well. He wants to right that wrong and really try to clear that one on his record. I know the first fight that these guys had was kind of fluky because Chito Vera did land a perennial nerve kick. And that kind of, obviously it rolled up O'Malley's ankle. So to the UFC and to O'Malley and a lot of the fan base, that win by Chito Vera was kind of fluky, and it was kind of, an injury that happened. It didn't really tell the whole tale of the story or of the fight, because during that little time span that fight was going on, O'Malley was winning. He was kind of piecing up Chito Vera throughout that entire, first and second round. I forget when he got TKO'd by him, but he was clearly outstriking Chito Vera. But as we know, 5-rounders do kind of benefit Chito Vera because he does get better as the fight goes on. But I think O'Malley, he showed great cardio against Chris Moutinho. He had a crazy output, a crazy pace. He's able to keep it up through 3 rounds, and it was, again, an insane pace. So I don't think that O'Malley will gas that hard against Chito Vera, but I can see a nice 5-round decision for O'Malley. He wins probably 3 rounds to 2 with Chito Vera winning the last 2 rounds because he probably will slow down. But I can see O'Malley just clearly winning those first 3 rounds and really pushing a pace and really beating up Chito Vera. But then again, Chito Vera's skin is made of steel, so he won't show any damage at all. Who knows what will happen? And then as the fight goes on, we see Chito having more and more success because O'Malley will probably slow down a little bit. Not like horrendously gas, but he will slow down to a point where it can allow for Chito to get more damage off and have more success as the fight goes on. So I will take O'Malley by, again, 5-round decision. But that's all I have for you guys today. There's some big news that dropped, amazing news, crazy fights coming up. The UFC was absolutely cooking today, and I can't wait for these fights. I can't wait to break them down in the future. I can't wait to watch more UFC film and understand the styles of these guys. Can't wait for it, but that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching the videos up to this point. I surely do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications so you get notified every single time I post a video. I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.